Right, White House presidential hopeful Mitt Romney named Russia as America's #1 geopolitical foe. But 20 years ago, he was happy to make a buck from the bad habits of people in his top enemy nation, as RT's Gayani Chichikan explains.
Today's Mitt Romney views Russia as America's #1 geopolitical foe. We don't know what views Mr. Romney had on Russia 20 years ago, but we do know that back then he did his best to get Russia to smoke more. So, some 20 years ago, his Boston-based consulting firm, Bain Capital, was helping tobacco titans to move forcefully into the new Russian market. The Soviet Union just collapsed. Russia was up for grabs. According to the person who worked for Romney in Russia at the time, someone named Sasha Van Gosh, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, Romney was very excited about the smoking market in Russia. Mr. Gosh said he reported to Mitt Romney directly about his efforts to promote smoking there. In the 1990s, tobacco market in Russia skyrocketed, which of course led to more smoking-related deaths. And candidate Romney has apparently made his very modest contribution to that. But obviously for him, it was more about money than anything else. Just business, even if it killed. By the way, Mitt Romney himself never smoked, except for the one cigarette he said he had when he was very young. He explained his attitude to smoking, saying, "It's a religious thing." Mr. Romney is a Mormon, and Mormons have a strict health code. But apparently his beliefs, his faith, never stopped him from pushing cigarettes onto the nation he refers to as a foe. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan.
Right, for more on the smoking issue, we're joined live by Daniel Wagner, CEO of Country Risk Solutions, who's going to talk to us a little bit more about this. Now, good to have you here, Mr. Wagner. Mitt Romney's time at the private firm Bain Capital has been revealed in the media. What impact may this information have on the presidential race now that Romney is running neck and neck with Obama?
Well, there are some parallels here that I would draw, which are totally consistent with who Mr. Romney appeared to have been 20 years ago. 20 years ago, he was still that man who had very firm conviction through his church, the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints. That church prohibits its members from drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes. So you would imagine that there's a little bit of a conflict here in his own mind with heading a firm that would supposedly sell and promote cigarette consumption in Russia and in other places, while being a man of faith and, in essence, contradicting his own beliefs. That translates into some contradictions that are going on in the current presidential race, which is, we saw, for example, the tape that was revealed in the spring where Mr. Romney was saying all sorts of things that appeared to be contradicting what it is that he's saying today. So we see in this candidate someone who appears to lack conviction and who appears to be willing to say anything to get elected.
Now, we know Romney has positioned himself as a person strongly opposed to not only cigarettes, religious beliefs. He's also talked about gay marriages. He's spoken about a whole lot of issues that it might make a lot of people uncomfortable. Now he's got this new image of being anti-smoking. How will his supporters take this?
Well, I first of all wonder how many of his supporters will even become aware of this new report. I'm sure in time it will come out, but there's not much time left in the election. You know, there's a real fundamental question here, and that is, Mr. Romney was fundamentally unwilling to challenge the conservative base of his party until about a week ago at the debate with Mr. Obama. Now, all of a sudden, there appears to be Romney Light or a new Mr. Romney that people have not seen for 2 years in the course of this campaign. It leads one to wonder, who is this guy? What does he actually stand for? Apart from the fact that he's been unwilling to release more than a year or two of his tax records, or has failed to be explicit about many of the policies that he's espousing, one wonders, in this chameleon-like nature, what one can expect from this person once he is in office. He's one thing one minute and another thing another minute. That's a very dangerous place to be for someone who may hold an extremely important office.
That's a big topic.
Right, now, I want us to touch a little bit upon other presidential campaign issues here. Just recently, Romney has called for a change of course for U.S. policy in the Middle East, promising a harsher stance on Syria and Iran. What exactly does this shift in Washington's course mean if he gets the top job?
Well, if he gets the top job and if he indeed follows through on what it is he's saying today, who knows whether that will be the case. You know, it seems to me that much of what he says is actually going to be a continuation of what Mr. Obama is actually doing already. So Mr. Obama is, saying he will chase down the people who were responsible for the attacks on the consul general in Benghazi a few weeks ago. He's saying he will end the Afghan war. All of those types of things Mr. Romney is saying as well. If he were, however, to do what he is alluding to in Syria and really ramp it up, arm the Syrian rebels with heavy weapons, or maybe possibly engage the U.S. in the military action there.
Mr. Wagner, I'm just going to have to jump in here. I'm so sorry for this, but I've run out of time. But thank you so much for your thoughts this evening. Daniel Wagner, CEO of Country Risk Solution on RT.
Thank you.